Good afternoon. Welcome to Abigail Bible Believing Answers. I am your host, Dr. Ruby Abigail. We're starting our new series this month. The month of March, the last month in this quarter of the year, and we're coming into our spring. So we're springing forward, and we're doing a series on boundaries, when to say no and when to say yes, and taming 30 days to taming your tongue. What you say and don't say will improve your relationships. So we have a couple of books that we're going to be using. The author of Taming Your Tongue is written by Deborah Smith, Pegues, Pegues, and Boundaries is written by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. I found out over this past week that you can actually go out on YouTube and do a search, and their lectures will come up on the YouTube channel regarding the boundaries. And I believe he's doing a lecture at Gateway Church, but it's very, very good. And it's very, very insightful. So we're going to start with communicating and taming our tongue so that we can improve our relationships. And this, as I said, is a 30-day challenge. And the first day of the 30 days, I'm just going to give an outline of what we'll be discussing on this week. And next week, we'll get more into depth of the subject matter. So the first day, you want to understand the lying tongue and what that actually means. And day 2 is the flattering tongue. Day 3, the manipulating tongue. Day 4, the hasty tongue. Day 5, the divisive tongue. Day 6, the argumentative tongue. Day 7, the boasting tongue. Day 8, the self-depreciating tongue. Day 9, the slandering tongue. Day 10, the gossiping tongue. Day 11, the meddling tongue. Day 12, the betraying tongue. Day 13, the belittling tongue. Day 14, the cynical tongue. Day 15, the know-it-all tongue. Day 16, the harsh tongue. Day 17, the tactless tongue. Day 18, the intimidating tongue. Day 19, the rude tongue. Day 20 is the judgmental tongue. Day 21, the self-absorbed tongue. Day 22, the cursing tongue. Day 23, the complaining tongue. Day 24, the retaliating tongue. Day 25, the accusing tongue. Day 26, the discouraging tongue. Day 27, the doubting tongue. Day 28, the laborious tongue. Day 29, the indecent tongue. Day 30, the silent tongue. So we'll get into depth with each of these. And so that will be our 30-day outline of what we'll be discussing and understanding as we kick off this week, getting more into understanding that words are vehicles through which we communicate our thoughts. The tongue is a driver as such, and it is used to get us to our destiny. And understanding that this challenge that you join on with me is a quest to become sensitive to the negative uses of the tongue and to do a fast or abstain from these verbal violations and godly principles. Because whatever the flesh tells us to do, sometimes we need to do the opposite. So in following and understanding that our tongue, as James says a lot in the Bible, is that our tongue can be deadly. It can bring life or death. Also, according to Proverbs 12:22, the Lord detests a lying tongue, but he delights in men who are truthful. So we don't want to be deceitful in using our tongue to be deceitful and lying, even, telling half truths or agitating, using our tongue, you know, we can pray the prayer, the Lord deliver, oh, our soul. Even as Psalms 120 verse 2 says, deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. So that's what we want to focus on our first day of not having a deceitful, lying tongue. So as we move forward, we'll get into more depths, and we'll do a lot of the subject matters on the 30 days of the tongue, including day number 2, which is the flattering tongue, which according to Jude, verse 1 and 16, says that these people flatter others to get favor in return, that it's the motive behind it is not healthy, that flattering is a lie covered in a bed of flowered words, that most people who engage in this dishonest communication do so to gain favor or just to obligate you. And if you are a flatterer, understand that when you are over complimenting a person, the flower of your words will soon wilt and lose all of the impact that you had intended. Understanding that Psalms 5:12 says, for surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous, you surround them with your favor as with a shield. So we want to definitely pray that, to consider that God gave Esther favor, and in understanding, he also gave, when you look at Esther 2, talk about the favor of Esther, and then when you look at Daniel, the favor upon Daniel's life in Daniel 1. And also God gave Joseph favor in Egypt. And we understand in Genesis 39-41. So the favor of God is on when you being truthful and not try to use your tongue to motivate people in a deceitful way. Because as the word of God says in Psalms 12:3, the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips. Is flattery worth being cut off from the blessings of God? So those are some things that you want to consider, and in understanding day 2, you want to pray affirmations. I will show partiality to no one, nor will I flatter any man. For if I were skilled in flattery, my maker would soon take me away. And that's Job 32:21-22. So just be mindful of those 2 days and concentrate on those, and we'll get more and more into taming the tongue as we continue on our broadcast of boundaries and understanding how to set boundaries and how to have healthy communication. And a lot of times in having that healthy communication, you must use the word no, and understanding that a lot of times you need to monitor how often, when you should have said no, or you should have told the truth about what was really going on with you, you may have avoided that. Because when someone even greet you and may say, how are you doing today? You may say, okay, when that may not really be the actual real truth. And so you want to just be mindful that you can say what's really going on, or if it's not appropriate for you to say so, you may not want to just lie about it. Or, and you might want to monitor how often you do that every week. And even just get used to saying the word no. No, I'm not having a good day today, or no, things aren't going well. Just monitor every day, and maybe even get used to saying the word no every day. Just practice it, and meditate on Psalms 139. Understand that God knows everything, and that there's actually brain chemistry that's affected by the way we use communications. And a lot of times when we get to using the word no appropriately and in appropriate situations and circumstances, it will create a pathway in our brain to even give us a better and a more easier way of answering in the future, and actually set off electrons and make pathways in our brain to help us out when we're attempting to communicate on things that may have been difficult for us before. Because a lot of times we may, for various reasons, try to prevent from telling people the truth or saying no to them, because we may think that they're too fragile to hear the word no, or we may think that they may not accept us, or may not want to, even be associated with us, or they may even break out and be surprised and may break out into a temper tantrum if, you may be fearful and even being truthful to a lot of people because you think you might disappoint them. But I would suggest to you that you should respect others enough to adapt to allowing them to accept your no's, because that would even help them to be a stronger person, and will stop a lot of codependencies that come when you don't use no appropriately, or just try to prevent from. There's three main reasons that most people are afraid to say no, and that's because they're fearful of people leaving them or rejecting them. Or their number two is that they're fearful that people will get angry with them or dislike them. Or number three, they're fearful of that may damage someone, or a person may not be strong enough to handle the truth. But you got to understand that, and maybe even can use the analogy between what's hurtful and what's harmful. And if you use the analogy as the doctors did in the book of Boundaries, he used the analogy of a dental appointment to say a dentist may hurt you, but did he harm you? And the answer would be yes, he hurt you when he did the procedure, but the hurt made you better. It didn't harm you. Whereas eating sugar, which caused you maybe to go to the dentist, the sugar didn't hurt you. It may be enjoyable. However, it did harm you. It could have caused you to have, dental problems. So when you look at things to say, is it hurtful or harmful? And those are some of the things you need to weigh how you make your decision. Will this thing hurt? And will the hurt cause harm? Or is this thing harmful? And will this harm cause more damage than not? So a lot of times you can't walk on eggshells when you're dealing with people, because that only disables them and cause them a behavior pattern that if they act up whenever you tell them no, that may cause them to continue act up because they know that their behavior is getting them the results they want from you. So a lot of times people may hear you say no and they may not take you serious. They may consider your no to be a way to negotiate and think it may mean maybe. Or they may think if you say no, they may just go to another person because they're not going to accept no. I've heard some people say a lot of times in their delivery as public speakers or as CEOs or entrepreneurs, that they don't take no for an answer, that they always move beyond that. Sometimes that can be healthy depending on the situation. If you're a go-getter and you're going after something and it may be a roadblock, but when you're dealing with people one-on-one, it's not good to pressure people or manipulate people into saying a yes when the answer they intend to give you is a no, or try to get them to be on a guilt trip. Because according to Romans 8, as of now, there's no condemnation in Christ Jesus. So you don't want to condemn people or bring in condemnation to have people to be afraid, a confrontation or conflict with people. And as I said, walk on eggshells because you're afraid people are going to get mad. Just refer to Proverbs 17:17 when you understand where that leads. So learn how to handle people that may go through a temper tantrum or may not be willing to accept your no's, and walk in the truth of and get your control back. Because a lot of times when people don't want to accept no from you, that's a way that they're using your inability to be truthful because you're afraid or in some kind of fear to control you. So it could be a control mechanism. So you really want to make sure that you're walking in the truth and understanding when to say yes and when to say no. Take your power back. So thank you so much for joining us on our broadcast this day. And hopefully you're join in with us on our series on 30 days of taming the tongue and understanding our boundaries, healthy boundaries and limitations, as in the way that we communicate with others. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer. Have a good rest of your day.